animation, voice acting, and music. Put these together and boom! Goosebumps, chills, and you're levitating. Even if it's a stinky reflection of the manga. But oh, the anime takes too long. Oh, you can see what the anime covers and more in the manga way quicker. But, if you need a Subway Surfer video below the main video, just say that. The only times I would pick up a manga is if it got an anime announced and looked cool, or an anime I really liked didn't have any further seasons announced. Despite this though, I have always been curious about picking up some manga and seeing if it really can be better than anime. So today's the day that changes. Today is the day I take one for the anime onlys and face the fear of reading. But the sub... What if people watched it in dub, huh? You ever think of that, Dylan? For the first time ever, I'm going to be reading mangas where I've already experienced their animes. If I liked it, hated it, or thought it was meh, everything would be fair game. All I needed to know was if people viewed the manga in a better light, and if I at one point told myself that I would check out the manga eventually. So take a seat, put some socks on, grab your nearest toy to prepare yourself for this stupidly put together video of me talking about some mangas I read and comparing it to its anime. Starting with... There's something special when it comes to the quiet vibe that midnight brings, and especially when represented inside of an anime, colors that would otherwise be elusive in the night sky are brought to life through these Japanese cartoons. Okay, let's turn shit up a bit. Call of the Night was the first anime that I watched take my favorite type of vibe and juice the fuck out of it. I was high off an aesthetic that anime rarely ever centered itself around when it was fully capable of it. The proof is right fucking here. Watching the two main characters, Nazuna and Ko, just chill out and do random shit at the dead of night was super enjoyable. Wait. Wait a minute. This is kind of stupid. Change it to Call of the Day and it sounds like it didn't hit puberty. The characters and overarching story is poo. Ko is a 14-year-old boy sneaking out at night because he's trying to fall in love with a vampire so he can become a vampire himself. Nazuna? She's like 40, looks like she does the good stuff daily, and seduced the 14-year-old in under 6 hours. This show was good fun. And Nazuna with her hair down was peak as fuck, I can't lie. But can we read between the lines and see how weird the show really is? Insomniacs After School is everything good about Call of the Night without the stinky fish. What the fuck? The story follows the intertwining lives of two people with insomnia. For reasons known or unbeknownst to them, they choose to accompany each other through sleepless nights, aimlessly wandering nightlit streets, personal radio shows to get to know each other better, or experiencing once-in-a-lifetime night skies with one another. This 13-episode anime represents... I don't know if I'm reading this right, but no fan service. No love triangles. The MC isn't an annoying degenerate? The characters actually flirt like normal humans? Who the fuck did this? Whose hand do I shake? I wondered if it was even worth comparing the manga, as I felt the whole main setting just would naturally translate better into an anime. But because it doesn't have any of the and is more of a relaxed slice of life romance, the manga might hit more personally, and the level of detail in some of the photographic sceneries might leave me in legitimate awe. Oh, hell nah. This tracks out for fucking blood. I think it was a given that the manga would just have way more detail in the art for a majority of the scenes. But when it came to the overall execution of important moments, it's fucked compared to the anime. The anime did what an anime should be doing when it comes to an adaptation. Take these black and white images, sprinkle some color onto them while letting the flow of animation and music elevate the moment in a 1920-1080 ratio. These itty-bitty strips of images called panels in the manga were suddenly extended into full-screen landscapes with music that just kept you immersed, colors that had you taking in the full scale of the scene, and composition that made otherwise simple panels completely breathtaking. You remember when I was losing my shit about Ganta and Isaki actually flirting like humans? What the fuck? Let me rephrase that. The anime makes everyone actually feel human. Honestly, the only reason I'd say read the manga instead is to see some small bits that were cut from the anime. And even still, the things that didn't get adapted was probably decided to pick up in season 2, since the end of season 1 didn't even conclude the accumulating story of the cut content from the manga. But until season 2 happens, the manga is still enjoyable enough and has gotten a pretty cool community around it. I'm gonna fuck the cat. What? I mean, this cat is literally begging for it. Just look at him. No. What is right? The cat didn't even make an appearance in this fucking chapter. I lied and I'm fucking sorry. Let me reiterate that people like this don't represent the series. But that's why I'm doing this video, to give you a sane perspective from an anime enjoyer about both the anime and manga. For Insomniacs after school, I think the anime is a better way to experience the story. But in general, it definitely comes down to what you prefer, because it's just a really good and cozy story about learning to accept yourself and how finding a hobby can make life even just a tiny bit more bearable. For everyone who loves this series, I'm glad you do, but I also apologize for the ungodly amount of Yeti shit I am about to throw at your beloved series for the next few minutes. Because you remember how I literally just said I would be the sane perspective for you? Well, fun fact, I fucking lied. Again! Because for the amount of time I subjected myself to watching and reading Roar, I think I carved off about 20 years of my life and got fucking AIDS in the process. Which honestly caught me by surprise, because Roar's whole premise always sounded so cool to me. So the fact that I am now in the balance between seeing my friends or taking my meds is a small problem. Ain't that right, John? Record of Ragnarök is about a bunch of gods who gathered after 1,000-something years and decide that humans are shit and need to be made extinct. But then this Valkyrie lady pulls up and is like, no, that's too boring, and proposed that the 13 best humans fight against the 13 best gods in one-on-one duels, and if they win, humans get to live for another 1,000-something years. But the gods start laughing and downplaying the idea, because of course, they're gods. They shoot lightning out of their asses and shit. The fuck are any humans going to do to litter pussies? And from then on out, it's just a bunch of big, sweaty men beating the shit out of each other with some of the most insane art out there. Which is cool, until you realize that's literally all it is. Okay, I'll be honest, I literally had zero plans to ever actually checking out this anime, let alone read the fucking manga. But in my Discord server, we have this thing, a sort of tradition or monthly ceremony, so to speak, where a bunch of us just sit in a VC at night to watch some of the most dog shit animes out there. And Roar couldn't have asked for a better anime that night.
Yes, he said.
Did this not affect him? What was the point of all of it? What was the point of this?
But this was almost like hate watching. We just laughed at everything bad it did. So, for some very odd reason, as if my brain already deteriorated that night, I decided it would be wise to keep an open mind and happily checked out this anime on my own. I think I want to kill myself. I have shown a total of 4 clips from the anime in this entire segment. And in all of them, you can see less frames in them than panels in a chapter of the manga. When an anime does that, it is no longer a fucking anime. You could have probably achieved better animation by flipping through the pages of the manga quickly rather than actually making the conscious decision to sit down and watch this thing. And you were supposed to be the chosen one. You just enticed me by having big sweaty men beating the shit out of each other with some amazing art and occasional big boobas. But that's all it was in the end. Unlike the anime, it didn't give me AIDS to read. But very much like the anime, I could care less about the whole point of the fight. Even though there is substance in the backstories, lore, and dialogue from the characters that aren't this random clingy infant that's always fucking crying, it felt like I was watching a video of someone trying to pump up a balloon filled with holes. Like, dog, you giving me a backstory about how Eve ate the fucking apple isn't going to make me care about the damn fight. I learned about that shit in kindergarten. At the very least, I can understand why people like the manga. The art is insane, the fights are cool, and the matchups are just fucking ridiculous. So I feel if I was genuinely bored out of my mind for a day, I would sit down and continue reading. But with no substance, fights in mangas will never top even a so-so animated fight sequence in anime for me. Now, as for understanding the appeal for the anime, there is none. You cannot tell me that people, literal humans from the planet Earth, think that this fucking slideshow with no substance, no meaning, a backstory every goddamn swing or punch that's thrown actually has some Homo sapiens defending it. And if you are one of those Neanderthals, please tell me what was going through your head when you saw this scene, or that scene, or this fucking slide, because I would like to know if there's actual justification behind this amalgamation of dog shit. Wow, it's so vibrant and pretty. What if I just laid on the flowers and drifted in this? What the fuck? Wait, hold on. No, this isn't pretty. I don't want to be here no more. Hell's Paradise. At the time of writing this strip, this was announced to have an anime about 2 years ago, and this PV for the anime dropped about a year ago. And when that PV released, I don't think I've ever been as interested in a series that I've never heard of as much as this one. Literally, my first thought after watching the PV was, fuck it, I'm buying this manga. But because volumes 1 through 4 were never in stock, I just waited for the anime to release. Knowing that MAPPA was animating it and hearing all the hype about how MAPPA is now in control of the Dar Trio? That title is so fucking stupid. Which fandom rallied this name? Huh? MAPPA is a powerhouse studio that has been making incredible adaptions, but 3 weeks before the anime was supposed to air and people were scared? The main trailer still looks pre-rendered, anime airing too soon, and MAPPA having numerous big projects they're already working on. These were all very valid reasons that caused people to be worried about the production of Hell's Paradise. So when it aired, I was super happy. People were worried, giving me a scare, when in the end the production was anything but shitty. Those middle episodes though, yeah, no. The production at the start is amazing. Like, I've never seen 2D fire be so fire since Fire Force 4 years ago. Get to the middle episodes and how does a 2D character manage to feel green screen onto a 2D background? What is this action figure ass movement, dog? I said this on TikTok. My first mistake. And every single wannabe saint started jumping the comment section, while I scratched my head being confused at how my obviously joking tone was hating on the staff. Then I proceeded to try and clarify my shitpost. I'm realizing I'm the dumbass here. I don't know what I was expecting, trying to make an informative video over 1 minute long on an app where its users' brains are held loosely together by fucking cobwebs. Because of this anime, I made a grave mistake and began to open my brain, specifically towards composition in anime. Now, I'm no expert at it, but allow me to try and open your brain as well. With consent, of course. And to do so, let's go back 3 years ago when another Dark Trio anime aired. Looks good, right? Now let me explain composition and you'll see why it's actually not very good. Composition is basically everything that makes up the visuals in a scene. So effects, character animation, and background movement are all involved. Even something as simple as color palette is a part of composition. Now if we take a look at the scene again, the only good looking part of the scene is the actual hand-drawn designs. The background, effects, and even full animations compiled together in the scene feel super awkward at times. And it isn't just this one moment. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 consistently showed poor composition, and you didn't even realize it because the hand-drawn designs were phenomenal and masked those moments. Season 2, though, yes! 10 out of 10! And if you still think those scenes in Season 1 look good, then I failed to open your brain, and you could still enjoy everything. Fuck you! In comparison to its bigger counterpart, MAPPA has very much neglected the production of Hell's Paradise, though I wouldn't blame this on the budget or any of the staff who worked on it. Much like how I subject myself to editing these videos, MAPPA is fucking dog shit with scheduling and staff management. And on top of that, are already working on monster titles such as Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Vinland Saga, and a few more final seasons of Attack on Titan. But MAPPA being shitty employers is like Bible-logged information at this point. So, Hell's Paradise is about a beautiful and vibrant island. On the surface, it's more akin to a heavenly paradise where the flora dance and the wind, like beautiful voices, sung. Here, the elixir of life can be found, and when consumed, grants the blessing of immortality. Or that's what the people say. And so, after learning that the Shogun is now recruiting convicts to go to the island through a shinobi named Gabimaru and its executor Sagiri, we learn that the island is far from anything known as heaven. The anime captivates the juxtaposition of every aspect of the story extremely well. This island is a polymorphic explosion of vibrancy and life, but that exact life feeds off the corpses of humans, and its common inhabitants are mindless imitations of every known deity. Gabimaru is a shinobi with the nickname The Hollow because of his infamous KD ratio, when in reality, he hates killing and just wants to live a peaceful life with his wife. And Sagiri, a part of a clan where the men become unwavering sword testers and executioners. But Sagiri is a woman, who although takes her duties very seriously, still struggles with taking a person's life and still has womanly compassion for everything around her. From week to week, regardless of production flaws, I was itching to get my fix of Hell's Paradise and Yuzihara. Still, I put on my glasses and played OSTs that would match the vibe. Fucking nothing matched the vibe. But the manga was pretty good. When it came to the art, the manga had this stylistic quality to it that was almost as if it was actually drawn during the Edo period. In many ways, experiencing that art style is almost incomparable with the anime. There was one thing that the anime did differently though, involving a character named Tenza. Tenza had very little backstory in the manga, while the anime tried to expand on his backstory much more. It was still only about half an episode's worth, but I can see that they tried to compensate for the viewer's lack of knowledge of a character that they were about to have jumped by a nippleless floral god. These Playboy models are called Lord Tensons, and in the manga, they weren't, nippleless. Actually, in terms of nudity, the anime censors all of that. Keep in mind, though, this is something from the Dark Trio. So blood, decapitation, impalement, Yes, the anime's distinguished culture of gore is still here. Yes. Just in the manga, you get about a pair of extra reasons to read it. There was a point in the manga, though, that I was specifically looking forward to, because in the anime, it managed to evoke an emotion in me that I was not expecting. I was disturbed and extremely pissed off. Now, I won't directly spoil it, but the manga still very much left me wanting these fucking bugs just... So if you've been keeping up with the panels I've been showing, then you might understand why this shit pissed me off. Hell's Paradise's anime and manga have left me not wasting anybody's time at all. Like, I totally didn't get sidetracked in this segment, causing me to consider making it its own separate video. That would never be the case. Like, why would I do that? That's like if I added this segment just to have an excuse to talk about this series.
What?
Like, I would have to be crazy to pull off such an ambiguous segment. Hell's Paradise has taught me that preference is relevant. For me, despite all that shit, I wouldn't mind waiting for season 2 of the anime. And you guys would probably think I'm crazy as fuck, but I still would very much consider picking up the manga to experience the art style that just won't be replicated in the anime. Regardless, the atmosphere and the story are still the same, so I'll leave that choice up to you. Now this segment can finally fucking end! So right about now, you're probably a bit confused and saying, hey Kez, this manga didn't get an anime adaptation. It got its first fucking chapter not too long ago. Where I would then reply, yes. Yes, it fucking has. Then you would say, then it's not an anime manga. Ah! Then explain this.
I can't allow a slime like you to wield katana.
Yeah, you look dumb as fuck now. Don't be sleeping on Kagurabachi. This shit is on the fucking come up. The first Kagurabachi group oh wait, hold on.
Swoosh. There's not much.
Swash.
Nish. Santorio.
If you aren't reading the anime and watching the manga, then like, what are you even doing with yourself? This is the next face of Shonen Jump. What the fuck is Luffy? Goo Goo Gaga. There's a devil in those words, because for some reason that was dialogue that won over this. How that even works is beyond me, but in my own twisted world, I think I kind of get it now. A Silent Voice is an award-winning movie. Animation?
Perfect.
Directing?
Perfect.
Music?
Perfect.
Voice acting?
Perfect.
Story?
友達になれるかな
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I basically just recited the intro of this video, and A Silent Voice on paper fit the description and more of why I love anime. So why? Why did I not feel as strongly as other people after multiple rewatches? I could never understand why, especially as an individual who could take parts of the movie and view it as unfortunately relatable. It never resonated with me. Any strong emotions conveyed through the movie and passed along through others always eluded me. My own voice was devoid of being able to speak highly of the movie, and even at this incredibly crafted scene. For some reason, I could never feel sad during it. Seeing someone seamlessly willing to take their life but responding to it very apathetically leaves me feeling a bit guilty. Like I cried to a fucking boat! It might have been fiction, but the boat was also fiction. I knew it was sad, but I could never feel sad. So in the end, I could never label the movie as anything other than just good. And then I decided to read the manga because I heard it was better. And, 20 chapters was all that I needed to know that the movie was just a shell of what a silent voice truly is. For the longest time, I was just sat rewatching the movie, but every time the credits rolled, my feelings never changed. So when the manga almost made me cry,
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
unlike the movie, seeing Shoya bully Nishimiya when they were kids in the manga genuinely made me want to punt this Sonic the Hedgehog looking ass kid into a damn volcano. The rest of the main cast that we bond with all become characters you come to understand more than just what was given in the movie. This guy, you remember him? No, you probably fucking don't because he got zero shine in the movie, but in the manga, he's an entirely different character who has moments that make you appreciate his presence and even has moments that might leave you a bit sour. He's also, a bit fucked up. Then there's Ueno, who was still a dislikable character, but this time it wasn't blind hatred. Still very much not a good person and very dislikable at times, but after a certain point, you come to realize that the two-faced attitude that Ueno was shaped around started to disappear and she was actually trying to be a better person. Miki, though, Jesus fucking Christ. Listen, feeling yourself up, that's all good. That's not my issue. My issue is the fact that every action, every behavior was because she wanted some Mashiba dick. Unless it was towards Mashiba, nothing out of this vile woman's mouth was truthful. And then they show this as her reasoning for everything? I'm cute! In the movie, I knew she was dislikable, but in the manga, I actually understood how dislikable she was. If it came to being friends with Miki or Ueno is a day one. We're fucking tight. My ride or die. A part of my gang. Her being completely transparent as well as trying to better herself regardless of how she feels deep inside is so much better than fucking Miki. But there's a bigger reason for why I actually really like the manga compared to the movie, and it was honestly something super simple. They translated the sign language. Conversations with Nishimiya didn't feel empty to me. I wasn't dragged along trying to piece together the broken words that others would say when talking to Nishimiya, and this was so much more apparent in this moment of the movie. I didn't notice how sad this moment was, let alone even remembered it existed because I couldn't understand what she was saying. So when I first noticed it in the manga, compared to the movie, the manga is completely different, and I'm normally all for visual and audible appeal, but regardless of the subpar art for the manga sometimes, the story was so much more cohesive to me that it didn't matter. I used to look at this as a deep story that I could never feel strongly about. But after reading it, I now view it as a compelling, almost like diary story about how striving to be a better person might look completely different to other people. Nobody's the same, everybody's unique, and we all look at the world differently. So when I look at the approach the movie took with its deliberate camera movements and silence, I think it's great, and at the very least, that shows that there was love put into this project. But the story didn't need any fancy visuals or great voice acting. At the core of it, all the story needed was to give you time to show you the layers of each character and make you care about their relationships. Without growth of fondness, a story about interpersonal relationships is nothing more than just watching strangers interact from a distance. Read the manga. I'm curious to see what you guys think, and hopefully it will be as rewarding of an experience for you as it was for me. When you hear Tokyo Ghoul, you probably think, I got my ghouls in Tokyo and they're feeding on... I can't even say it. I can't say that. I can't say it. You thought I was gonna say it? I gotta stop doing this at the start of segments. But when I think of Tokyo Ghoul, I just think of them bitches. I don't care how you felt about the anime. If you've watched it, the sentence "the manga is better" is like a default emote for the fandom. Oh, so I just finished watching The manga's better. You didn't even the manga's better. But I thought it was the manga's better. Cock and ball torch. The manga's better. Because of them, I did plan to just watch the first 2 seasons until I watched Kaneki carry Hideo through the street for like 5 straight fucking minutes. And that's when it hit me. Holy fucking shit. They might be right. Only took me 3 years to commit to reading the manga, but here we are now. Tokyo Ghoul is a manga by Sui Ishida and takes place in... You would have never guessed this. Fucking Tokyo. I don't even know why I'm explaining the synopsis. It's almost like Tokyo Ghoul was one of the best-selling series of all time at one point. But if you, for some odd reason, don't know what Tokyo Ghoul is, well... We follow Ken Kaneki, a regular university student in a world where man-eating creatures hide and live amongst humans. It's practically impossible for a normal human to tell if someone else is actually a ghoul. That's okay, because our boy Kaneki is going on his first date, and all that matters is that the girl's cute, also into books, and for better or worse, giving Kaneki the most devious fucking hickey ever. That's my boy. You know what? We take anything we can get here. It's probably not what he was expecting. Maybe also just a bit aggressive for a hickey, but a hickey is a hickey. With a bit of luck on Kaneki's side, he ends up being taken to the hospital in critical condition where he gets a life-saving organ transfer. Until the slow revelation of everything tasting horrible and the lust to consume human flesh reveals that the organ transfer he received was from the ghoul that attacked him. Kaneki is now a ghoul. Through this shocking realization, Kaneki is now forced to live life as a half-human ghoul, learning about the indiscriminate cruelty of both the lives of ghouls and regular people who may become victims of ghouls. When it comes down to the premise, I think it's a unique way of representing discrimination, but because of how edgy and brutal the nature of the setting is, I could never find myself overtly liking the series. Now don't get me wrong, I still think the series is great. Like this? This is fucked! There's like big ass schizo faces chasing Kaneki, and then all of a sudden the guy starts getting eaten alive. Oh look, he woke up. It's still fucked, and I love it. But one look at the schizo faces in the anime and it feels like my balls just got back from Antarctica. So even though my balls don't freeze over while reading Tokyo Ghoul, I think it became more apparent to me that for my psyche, it probably wasn't the best thing to consume in huge chunks, nor just read whenever. I had to be in a certain mood. I couldn't be chilling with ghouls while I'm playing patty cake with rom-coms in the field. And it might be hard to grasp, but I don't know Sui Ishida, so this is pure speculation, but based off what he thinks of Tokyo Ghoul and literally confirming that he self-inserted at times with a not-so-positive outlook, I wouldn't be surprised if creating something as edgy and gruesome as Tokyo Ghoul for 7 years left a negative effect on Sui Ishida's mental state. That's just me though, and being just me, I read 64 chapters in a single day! Now that might sound like pussy numbers, but with the manga's use of paneling and the amount of information each chapter had, sometimes these chapters took a bit more time to get through than I would have expected. I was also distracted as fuck in between some chapters, but those are little details. We add little details. These 64 chapters I read were everything that season 1 should have covered, and in only 3 fucking chapters, I could see how differently the anime handled the manga. To put into perspective, episode 1 adapts about 5 chapters, and that's 138 pages worth of content needed in a single episode. Normally, the first episode of an anime would adapt the first chapter of the manga, usually consisting of 50 pages, which Tokyo Ghoul had in its first chapter. Time to fess up, Studio Period. How did it feel trying to be different? You know what? Never mind. You fumbled the show a whole decade ago, so you don't need to explain yourself. Just sit back and watch as I tear into this crime scene of yours. Now, even though that ratio only continued to get worse for every episode, the amount of content cut and the sequence of events that were altered also had me going feral! All this, and we still haven't even gone to the meat of this egregious fumble of an adaptation. So, Studio Period, just know if I catch you slipping even the slightest bit for the Black Clover Spade raid arc, I'm showing up to your doorstep and... And I'm Canadian. So, sorry if it comes to that. I think after chapter 15 of Tokyo Ghoul and seeing how censored it is in the anime, as well as how differently the events are ordered, I completely understood the statement, the manga is better. From the art, dialogue, characters, emotions, the fucking art, like how are you gonna look at art this detailed and start shaking your fist at animes for not getting the right amount of cross-hatching in there? Like, you missed this line -9 degrees from the molecular point of the South Pole on the x-axis. I will never understand those people. Funny enough though, translation of art was the least of our worries for how bad the adaptation was for Tokyo Ghoul. So I gotta say, the manga readers were right. Now at this point, you might be wondering, why did you read 64 chapters if it only took you 15 to get to this realization? Well, I have 4 reasons. 1, because I like wasting my time. 2, because I am interested in the story. 3, season 1 covers 64 chapters, kinda. And 4, because I really wanted to get to the renowned I am a Ghoul panel. And in case you live under some fucking rock, I'll be the first to tell you that it is nothing like the anime. From the depiction, emotion, sequence leading up to it, and especially the atmosphere of the moment, pages like these are what set a sense of limerence when witnessing this moment. Schizophrenia, agony, psychosis, suffering, bipolar, incoherent, delusions, trauma, paranoia, anguish, depression, torment, manic, pain, again, and 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 again. Until the embrace. The anime is not an adaptation of the manga. So after fully realizing some amazing, poor, and abysmal anime adaptations, I think I've come to the conclusion that I still prefer anime over manga. Yeah, fuck you and fuck books, except Dandadan, my beloved. At the end of the day, whether you enjoy anime or manga, that's completely subjective. A manga counterpart usually has its detailed art and own uniqueness to it that anime will probably never come close to replicating. But anime has animation, music, voice acting, directing, and fluent camera work that when put together just... Yeah, I think you get the point. The main reason I decided to do this video was to try and expose myself to the medium more, and I'm glad I did. Because me liking the manga more than the anime, that sounded fucking weird. Yet, it happened. I don't know if I will ever push myself to read mangas for animes I've already seen as much as I did here again. But knowing I did push myself, knowing that even when it felt like a drag and I just wanted to scrap this whole video, we're here now. At the end of the day, I just read some Japanese comics to see why there's such an appeal for it over some animes, so it really isn't that deep. But to me, being able to understand why things are the way they are is what I love about anime and manga, and it is why I will always love this medium. Talking, creating, entertaining, and sharing is where it all comes back to. Thank you so much for watching. This took absolutely ages to finish, and I'm stressing balls because I've got practicum placements for school starting literally this week. So I was working overtime trying to get this finished before then. But anyways, I'm going to be a YouTuber now, so like, subscribe, and check out the Patreon for extra content if you want. I don't know, I'm not your parent. And thanks to Yassou for the tier 3 on Patreon, and also LeonAkafabi. He saw the uncensored version of the video early too, so like, you know, that's a steal if you ask me. Anyways, I will now be sticking some shit up my urethra because apparently I like torturing myself for several months. Goodbye.